Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Time Is Now podcast. My name is Jody Albert Moss, and my guests on this show are Kim and Barb, daughters of the moon. And I'd like to turn it over to them, and they'll introduce themselves. Kim and Barb.
Okay, so my name is Kim, and so we have a podcast that we run, which talks about all kinds of different spirituality things. We talk everything from meditation to essential oils to moon. We do a monthly reading that we do, and then we put it out onto our social medias, Instagram and Facebook at this point. We got started probably about a year ago now on our podcast, and we just decided that some people around us were starting some podcasts, and we thought, why can't we and talk about the things that bring us a lot of passion? And we've been doing spirituality things pretty much my whole life. So we thought, why not? And share that wealth of knowledge with other people. And then, now we've gotten to the point where we can have guests on, which is wonderful. And we had you on, Jody, which was amazing. And so now we're just sharing and trying to give the information to let everybody be their best highest self.
That's true. And we try to be as natural as we possibly can be when we're talking to you. It's about our knowledge on it and and we're always welcoming new knowledge from us and educate us so that we can put it on our podcast and educate people too, as that we keep it as positive as possible and allow people to really build on their dreams and be successful in their lives and things like that. And we're hoping that we help with what we do with our podcast. Yeah, pretty much in a nutshell.
Very exciting. I'm happy to have you on. You're located in Alberta?
Correct. Yeah.
We're in Camrose, Alberta, actually, and we love it here.
Okay. How do people
And I'm in a smaller town, New Norway.
Oh, yeah.
Best way is Facebook or Instagram. We do have a website as well that they can check us out on there, and pretty much everything's under Daughters of the Moon.
Okay.
And I can share that contact information with you if you want to.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll put your contact information in the post. I also noticed that because I've been on your podcast, I went and listened to some of your podcasts that you open some of them or all of them with a reading. Is it a card reading or an oracle reading?
Yes, yeah. So we felt that was something, because that's kind of something that we've always done, is do our readings. And so what we like to do is get one of our oracle decks or our runes. And then we generally, if it's the oracle cards, we will read it, the definition or the explanation that the author has given. And then we intuitively give our message to go along with those oracle cards.
Right. Is that called divination?
You can call it divination. We go so much on trusting on the collective spirit to give us the information we give out to our viewers that will help them for that week that we're doing the cards, and inspire them to just move forward in their lives and to help them to understand a little bit more about maybe what they're going through at the moment, whether it's something that's holding them back, got blocks or things like that, and we can help them to correct that and seek the information that they need to move forward. We also do readings, Jody. On our times, I'm a Reiki master. Kimmy also does Reiki, and so we do offer readings for people to come in if they want to have a reading from us, and they can book it through our site as well.
So you work from home as well? Is that what you mean? Yeah.
I actually have a corporate job.
We do have classes as well. We just started doing some classes as well, spirituality and meditations and things like that. We're going to get a little more progressive with that too, where we're going to talk about pendulums and all kinds of things like that people can learn about. So these classes will help them with that as well.
Wonderful. That's great. There's a real need for that now, and being on the podcast, that'll help you reach a larger group of people.
Thank you.
Do you want to speak a bit about Reiki? Maybe some people don't know what Reiki is.
Okay, Reiki is an energy healing. It's a beautiful energy healing. You use it with your hands to work on people, and you call from the universe to bring the energy to them for any problems that they're having. So if people come to you and they have, say back problems, we can work with the energy with them for their back to help them to create a better living for them, so they won't have the pain and that. And then sort of an example was, I had a fellow that was coming to me. He was doing like 25 oxycodone a day for his back, and with doing the Reiki and that, it was only a matter of weeks and he was down to like 3 and 4 tablets. So the energy from spirit comes through our hands when we do the Reiki to help heal them, and it can unclog things from the past. It can remove all kinds of nasties from the body as well. Energy is a beautiful thing to work with, and Reiki is an amazing, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm familiar. I've done Reiki as well. I have a question for you. Do you feel Reiki's kind of like for the individual? Do you think it's changed since it first came out? Like, have you seen Reiki evolving or transforming over the years, changing?
I definitely do. But Reiki is expanding, it is growing in a big way. It's amazing. It really is. And
I think with Reiki, because it is an energy healing and we are using the symbols that are given to us when we practice it and we learn it. And I think because the universe is really, or like the world is really needed so much more of an energy shift, and to have that healing out there, I think because there is a lot of healers out there and we have those different levels and different rare variations of Reiki. Yeah, I think it's changed to become more, I don't know. I just feel like it's something that can be shared through everybody, whether you actually have that Reiki training or not. I believe that I believe that just by the intention of the healing and putting it out there, you can send those healing thoughts out.
Good way to put it. Intention is the whole thing of all of the spirituality, I find. And but with Reiki, because the energy is strong with it when you're working with it, any level of you have of Reiki is going to be helped. I do so much travel with Reiki, where I'm also doing long distance healing all the time. It just seems to be something that's always been asked of me. So how do you feel about it, Jody?
Yeah, I was kind of baiting you with that question, but you're right on the money. And I always said, like, I've been doing it 30 years probably.
Yeah, me too.
You work with the energy, right? So yes, the person that you're assisting is benefiting, but the person doing it is benefiting, and we can't stay the same. So what I found with a lot of Reiki people that have been doing it, over the years, is they shift off into like shamanic work, journey work, all kinds of different stuff, because basically, could you say Reiki is the fuel that fuels everything else? Kind of, it's the universal energy, right?
I would
It
agree
is,
with
because
that.
I find when you're doing Reiki, when you're working on a person, the universe tells you that to use either oils or anything else that they may need.
I agree.
And I think too, because you can use it on so much, right? You can use it on animals, you can use it on your plants, you can use it, just to help you in everyday life. Like when I cleanse my house and like, really, I think it's what you're pulled to do, but I use the Reiki as well to help protect, to help send it out to the things that need it. And it isn't always just humans. And I do think you're exactly right when you say, when we give out that energy to other people, we are also receiving it back through the process of it. So
Right. Yeah, you're only limited by your imagination. Many years ago, I jump-started a car. I put my hands over the terminals. I had witnesses, and the battery was dead. And when I said turn the key, it was like the greatest heat source came over me, and the flush of energy, and that car started. So don't limit yourself. You can, if you think it, you can do it, eh? And they say, like when I came through Reiki, when you're born, you don't need Reiki. You're already open. You're already in tune. but we spend our lives getting shut down. So the process of going through Reiki helps us to remember and go back to where we were and live how we're supposed to live.
That's true. We talk about building our dreams and how we don't follow it enough as we grow up because, like you said, we get shut down on it. And when we start opening back up, we can do it just flows out of us when we open ourselves up to all the possibilities.
Yeah. What are those essential oils behind you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, those are my babies. I love essential oils. I'm pretty sure that I must have been a witch in a past life or something, to be honest, because honestly, I've always been drawn to that. And with the essential oils, I love it because I can make things, and people are always calling me more family. But I have X is wrong with me. My father-in-law had a really sore knee and he could barely move, and said, can you make me something for it? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I have a little oil Bible that I go through, and then I made him some salve, and it was actually helping. So I just really think it's more of a natural way to go about things. And I think that most people don't realize even how much essential oils can help them day to day, like if you got a cold or a sore throat, you can do a little bit of oil of oregano in some water. It takes that sickness and healing, and I like to clean with it because I'm trying to move away more and more from the chemicals and the things that because I think whatever we put into our body, that's what we fuel ourselves with. How do we live at an energetic level if we're not fueling our body with these more natural things? So my cleaning has, I've gone backwards, I guess, back to the, vinegar and baking soda and essential oils because it smells good.
And it works.
And it works.
Do you do any herbs or anything like that, or just the essential oils?
So far, just essential oils. So
yeah, I find like I have all kinds of stuff here. I have some essential. I made a cologne out of essential oils 30 years ago, and so that started me off. But I don't practice it, but I like it for the vibrations, right? And that led me into collecting my own herbs, and it's all a form of alchemy, isn't it? It's all energy. It doesn't matter what really vehicle you use.
That's right. And I just think it's out there. Why would we not embrace it and bring it into our lives, right? And I agree, like even fresh herbs to cook with is so much different than what you buy in the store, right? You're not getting that nutritional stuff out of it, and the taste is not the same, the powdered form, as to unless you're doing it yourself.
Yeah. And I believe as we get into these new energies and it's happening quicker, our bodies respond better to vibrational medicines, vibrational remedies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I tend to, like, people laugh at me because it's like, oh, I got a headache and I got my little peppermint stick and putting it on, because that feels better to me than taking the things that I know are not good for my body. And I don't want to live at that energetic level, right?
Do you sell the essential oils, or do you just use them for making your own blends?
Well, I'm through doTERRA, so the only thing I usually do, don't tell doTERRA, if somebody wants to buy them, I'll just purchase them wholesale and they can just pay me what it costs to get them. I don't take a profit off of it or anything like that. I just facilitate somebody having them because I do totally believe in them so much that, yeah.
When you light them up and you infuse them in your whole home smells beautiful. So why wouldn't you use it?
A lot of people don't know. And that's what's the beauty of these podcasts, is we try to open up their eyes to what's really out there, yeah. Anything else you'd like to talk about? I know you do the Reiki, and I know you do. I think there's a little more in there.
Spirits come to me and they talk to me and I see them and that kind of thing. So I get messages from them too, and I do share them all the time. As the kids were growing up, I started doing TV. They're young and they were having so much fun with it and that. So they were brought into my spiritual side is quite young. And from that, from TVs, I just went on and on until now I just touch on everything. Anything that's out there I can possibly use to help anybody get better, body, mind, or soul. I'm there. And so is Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And crystals, we use a lot of
Crystals.
crystals in our healing when we're doing Reiki, or I love all those things because it's from the earth and the energy comes with it. So like every day I carry crystals with me because I can look at the crystals and be like, oh, okay, this is going to help me. I have a meeting today and I need to be able to say and speak clearly and do those kind of things. Or, oh, I'm going into this meeting and I don't know what energy is going to be in there. I want to have something to protect my energy. So I'll bring my crystals in, and we've used them in our Reiki healing, and I use them in my meditations and things like that. And that's somewhere that I'm delving off in these courses that we're doing, is now I'm going to try and teach meditation to a degree, because I just really love that aspect of quieting your mind so you can hear what you need to hear.
Absolutely.
I also do.
Go ahead, Barb.
I also do full moon ceremonies as well. We are native Ojibwa, and so we do the full moon as well, to bring in the energies from the moon to people that are in the circle, sort of thing, to also help them heal mentally, physically, or whatever they're looking for.
Are your full moon are your full moon ceremonies, are they open to other people too, or
yes,
like, is that something you do and invite people?
Yes, yes. And actually, we plan on doing one on one of our podcasts here to sort of show people what they would be about. So if they wanted to come and join us on a live, into our place, then they could do that.
Yeah. And we may look in the future. We're kind of getting started with it, but we might look into the future, if I could push her into it a little bit, doing like a Zoom meeting where people could join in from anywhere, really, to partake in the full moon ceremony. So I think that would be something nice. And I think it's just a nice energy, and it's really awesome to watch her do it, because she really just channels in, when she's doing her ceremony, the information that she gives out within it. So I feel like that is really something that the world could use on a Zoom type of thing to get that out there more for people to join.
Thanks, Kim.
Totally agree. And not everybody can come in person. And the beautiful thing of this platform is you're making the world accessible, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the ceremonies, I think, are great. We have to get back to that connection with nature and the fact that everything cycles, right? There is no constant. It's a cycle, and it's so important. And then people would say, like, what date is it going to be on? Oh, you got to have it on the exact date. My research and my knowledge says you should feel when it's time to do it. You know when the full moon's coming, right? And you got to be in tune with that process. You'll know when.
Yeah, you do. And I like to do a full moon within 3 days before, 3 days after. But so I mean, it gives you a 6-day span sort of thing of when you could do it, and then the energy is strong in any one of those days. So it's beautiful, beautiful. One thing I want to do is get more into the drumming with it, though. That's what I'm going to do. That's my next thing I'm going to learn.
Yeah, I've had a drum for years, but really, when I first got it, I thought I had to drum like everybody else drums, right? And then these are challenges I overcame in my life. And I was very fortunate to run into traditional elders that were open-minded. And I would ask them, like, can I do this? Am I okay to have this? And they say, well, why aren't you? And I said, well, I'm a white guy and I'm living in the city. They said, who cares? It doesn't work that way. And then this one elder said, well, I don't have any. I told him, I said, I don't have any traditional teachings. He said, who do you think the first people? They didn't have any traditional teachings either. They went up on the hill, meditated, Creator sent them knowledge, and they worked with it, right? So that's I think is important for people to know. just do it. And the drum will teach you, and the drum will guide you. And sing your own song and sing your own. It's not about words, it's about toning and what you attach to those frequencies.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
And if
I 100% agree with you, because I think it's like art and painting, right? Like, I am not a Michelangelo, but I feel like if that is your release and that is what you're doing, and you're creating something to give out, I feel like that's your soul, and that is what is being inspired through the source to let us bring those things out. And I think so long society has held us down by, if you're not the best at it, you can't do it. Well, it's all subjective. So why not let our energy flow into these things and do it? Because our ancestors are channeling that information to us, regardless of what our race or, anything like that, right? It doesn't matter. That's my opinion, but
my opinion too,
It's
totally,
all intention.
100%. There's more.
It's all intention.
Everything's intention, and more harm is done by not doing than doing. Might have to take a trip out there,
yeah.
join one of your full moon ceremonies. Never know.
You're always welcome. I would like that.
Thanks.
Yeah, we would love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then we'll go explore some of those places that you were telling us about.
Yeah, there's some stuff out your way. There's some really interesting things I'd like to check out, So, but I like the fact that you're gonna
Yeah.
get outside, do your ceremonies, and be you. Like, as long as you're answering to that inner voice inside of you, you just let it flow.
I do. The spirit guides, when I'm doing it, it's so full of me. Like they feel me so full that it's just beautiful. And I'm not one that likes to talk about myself so much. So
You'll get used to that.
it's kind of different for
If
me.
you don't talk about yourself, how will people know? We have to talk.
Right.
We have to share, right? As long as you keep loving your heart, and you know that, Barb, it all just goes out.
Yes, I do. Lots of love in this one. Yeah, we share a lot of love. And
Good.
That's the way it's supposed to be. Like you, Joey. You were so wonderful when you came on our podcast, and we learned so much from you. The medicine wheel here that we had no idea it existed. Now the weather's nice and the snow's melting. Be able to go out there and take some of those sights in. So that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah. Be good.
Yeah, we appreciated that, because it opened our eyes to the things, like, I don't even think we realized, which I really realized, what is even around us and within close traveling to get to enjoy and take in the energy, like the medicine wheel. And then I found a labyrinth in Grand Cache. So it's a few hours down. I started, looking more into some of these, I didn't know that there was vortexes in Alberta, and looking at some of these and we're so looking forward to now going and checking them out. Yeah.
When you're doing your ceremony, when you're outside and you're doing your drumming, ask the question, which direction should I face? And turn until it feels right. And then ask the question, what's there for me? Is it an energy? 30 years ago, I had the intuitive inspiration to ask the question, is there an undiscovered energy? I didn't expect anything, but I held my pendulum and it said, yes, there is an energy that has been undiscovered, not being used. Okay, tell me about it. And it led me into building the pyramids. It's called the Trinity energy. It's 3 energies that come together. It's all there. It's just, I know you know what I'm talking about. And don't worry about what other people are doing in the terminology. Let the spirit guide you and go to these new places and work with these new energies.
That's what I want to do. I would like to pick up the energies there.
Yeah.
Because we know that as we go and we experience these new places, that we pull these energies into us too, which will only broaden us and open us up to more things that around us. Get us closer to being in contact with, the universe sort of thing, for the messages that we need to receive. So yeah, that's going to be really exciting to see what else it's going to bring forward for us in the future. It'll be fun. It'll
That's
be
great.
fun.
So
Yeah.
you want to share a bit more about your podcast, type of guests and things? What are you talking about?
So up till now, we've kind of talked about everything under the sun as far as spirituality. We have had guests on talking about meditation, breath work,
Reiki,
Reiki,
crystals,
bodybuilding. We've had some really good energy people on, talking about your words, just all kinds of different. We had you on, we had Arlene on, who you also know, talking about her Reiki and some energy. We've been blessed to have Elizabeth Bonfalvey. So I'm constantly reaching out to different people that inspire me and intrigue me.
us.
And us, yeah, because I know what intrigues her kind of, but yeah, that we would like to share their wealth of knowledge, because I think, I think we talk about that in our podcast, is like when you talk about Reiki, for example, there's so many different forms and variations of Reiki. You've got you see your Reiki, you got your Karuna, you got all kinds of different Reikis. And I think everybody that delivers the message delivers it differently. So I think there's, you could have 8 Reiki masters on to talk about Reiki, and you're going to learn something different from each of them. Okay. So I love, that's what I love about the podcast forum, is the amount of people you can have on and the information we can get out there.
Yeah, I think it's so important just to share that message that we all have our own little flair to it. And there's something for everybody, and it doesn't have to be a specific way.
And I like the part to be open, right? Because I loved what you said there of how we, we're so open when we're, and we close it down. And that was one thing, like with my own children, I tried to do was not to close those energy fields down for them, to open them up and continue to open them up, because I think it's so important with our youth that we're doing that. And now we're raising our granddaughter, and it's the same thing, right? Like I'm constantly trying to open her up to some of these energy and vibrations, the tapping, the essential oils, the crystals, the anything that brings that out. And I think it would be nice on these podcast forums, and not just ours, but yours as well, and the other ones that are out there, bringing these messages to the new millennials and stuff, to choose to live life in a different way, be more in alignment.
Yeah, our daughter, we did that when she was young. Everything was spiritual, and then she goes to school, and Dad, that's so uncool. That's uncool. You can talk about any of that stuff, right? And then we took her back to university there a couple weeks ago at Easter. In the washroom, oh, there's crystals there. In her room, there's books on this and books on that. So you just like to implant the seeds and hope that it gets them through, because the kids are so in tune, eh?
Oh,
Talking about, go ahead.
They're wonderful. And it's funny because over the years, with us being into crystals and everything like that, I don't know how many people in our family actually don't carry them, either in their pockets, purse, in their bras, because they realize the energies are so there for them to carry with them, so they can receive what they need in the daytime to make them feel either calmer or whatever it might be. But I don't think there's anybody in our family that doesn't use them. I really don't.
Oh yeah, it helps to tune you up. And like with our daughter, my wife and I, we moved into this house, and there was a spirit walking around, right? I saw the spirit, my wife saw the spirit, and we were talking about it one time. And I think my daughter was probably maybe 13. She turns around and goes, "Well, you see her too?" Yeah. So she's seen it all along. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's how my boys were when they were young. Like I remember walking, and we had a lot of spirits in this one house we lived in. And same thing, they'd be going down the stairs and be like, "Oh, there's, something there." Okay. Oh, there's something in my room. And so even at a young age, like 4 or 5, I said to my son, okay, well, you need to tell that spirit it has to go home now. And it can come back tomorrow, but it needs to go home now so you can sleep. So he knew at that point, right? You're in control of what you're allowing into your energy field, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, dumbed down for the small kids, but
They're seeing it, to them, it doesn't really mean anything. It's not strange. I noticed on your website, you do a form of housework, clearings, or do you want to talk about that?
I just did one on, I'm always doing them, it seems lately, especially. It's just if you have in your home and you feel a nervous energy, or you see orbs running around your place, or just darkness around you and that kind of thing, and it's giving you a bad feeling in your home and things are negative around you and that. What we will do is go into the home and we bring our crystals and our smudge and that type of thing, say our prayers as well, Reiki, to clear the house and bring into the positive energies into their homes, so that they can also start to live their lives as they would like to live it, instead of into a negative fear. So it's something we really like to do a lot. We really think we're pretty good at it.
yeah, and I know in the past, like you've seen things in people's homes, like objects or something, and then you might just say to them, that actually has a lot of negative energy with it. You might want to think about releasing that at this point, because that energy is staying stagnant in the house. So
Because oftentimes what will happen if I'm going to go into a home and do clear it, the energy of the spirit will come to me ahead of time, trying to tell me not to go to the home to clear it. And I'll go anyway, of course. But I guess unfortunately, I don't know. I do see these spirits, they come to me because they know my energy's strong, and they will be going away. It's that simple.
What about energies? Like, I kind of got this information when you were just talking. What if people buy like antiques and things? Is that what you meant? Like in the home might have a negative energy on it, and they don't even think about that, but they're bringing that in their home, right?
That's right. That's right. People don't even realize that in the front door, somebody coming in the front door, if they have a negative energy around them, or if they're carrying something themselves, they can also deposit that in your home around you when they're there. Just for what they say to you, sometimes it's enough to put some negative energy in their home. So yeah, it's it could come from anywhere.
And I think too, because people don't understand or know, one of the two, that things carry energy, right? So yes, if you were to go to an antique store and buy a ring or a mirror or what have you, it has the energy of the people that owned it before. So sometimes I think you can release that energy through smudging or sending it vibrations, rather Reiki or whatever. But sometimes I think the energy is so strong and it just has a negative connotation that you actually just need it to leave your house, right? It's not in alignment with your vibration, and so it's got to go.
I know when I go into one of those places, I bless myself and protect myself a lot, because I don't want to bring them home with me. And when you're spiritual, you probably know too, they like to attach to us sometimes because it's a free ride. And I call it that anyway. And so when I go into any kind of place that's antique or whatever, I certainly bless myself a lot, because there's all kinds of energies there.
Yeah, and you never know what the people are into either. I did one a couple of years ago for an industry, for a factory, and I did it. And I had my wife with me, and the energy followed me home. And it was a 40-minute drive. And I noticed it was there before I even went in my house, so I had to stop it outside. And that was coming from Africa. It was using the grid line. And with doing homes too, a lot of people overlook the fact that if you have a toilet or a sink, you're hooked up to the drains, you're hooked up to the sewers. Hydro hooks you up we're all hooked up to the big grid, right? Well, it can travel along the grid too. So there's all kinds of things. And I think it's such an important service to be able to go in and work in people's homes and help them out, eh?
It's true. Like I was one time, I was at a party at my brother's house, and everybody's lining up to go into the house to eat. And my sister was in front of me, and all of a sudden, in front of me, and I said, "Who the heck is that?" well, it's a spirit walking in. So I said to my sister-in-law, I'm going to have to bless your house before I go away again. Something came in with us, and she said, Barb, don't tell me. I lied, sorry, I'll bless your house before I go, because we're in the lineup going into the house. So it was interesting. It was funny too. But we got rid of it.
That's good. That's the important thing. You don't know anymore. And with the energies of the world, it's a positive thing. I see positive. I see a good future, but we have to be smart too. If something doesn't feel right, and if we can get people just more in tune with their intuitive side, that inner voice, then that's their defense mechanism, and they'll know something's not right.
And the more people that travel on the light side, the better the world's going to be.
Absolutely. And I think we're gaining there. But offering services and being able to teach people, that's important, because a lot of people don't know where to look. Like 30 years ago, I went to the spiritualist churches to start off, but I don't even know if they're around anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm sure there's probably some.
Yeah,
but,
for summer. Yeah.
I guess a person would have to look, right? But I agree with you is if we can teach that, that's one thing I say. People will say to me, oh, you've been doing cars. Oh, I wish I could do that. I'm like, well, you can, because we're all intuitive. It's how we hone it of the level of intuitiveness that we're getting, right? We are connected. You're connected as I am if you want to be. You just got to tune into it, right? Just shift those knobs a little to.
And you have to do the work. You have to commit to it. If you're not going to practice, and if you're not going to make it, you have to choose your life now. We have to choose spiritual or what. If you don't commit to it, you'll never get any better.
That's right.
I agree too. 100%.
Yeah.
Can't sit on the fence anymore.
Nope, you got to jump one side or the other.
You got it. Well, we're coming up on our time. Do you have any last words? Tell us again how to get a hold of you, your website, give us your email, or however we can get a hold of you so people can reach out and get to your podcast.
Our podcast is Daughters of the Moon. We're on Spotify, and our email is daughters.moon.podcast@gmail.com. And we are on Facebook and Instagram, and I don't have my website offhand, but I will send it to you and you can put it in your show notes.
Okay. Sounds fantastic. Barb, anything?
No, just come and look at it. We were talking to Jody today, and we're thinking about too going onto YouTube. You've educated us on that a little bit today. Thank you very much. But no, just look us up. You can book appointments with us on our website, and so you can book appointments to come and see us for whatever kind of need you have, whether it's Reiki or whether it's working with crystals or anything else. You can book that appointment. We will go and see you, or you can come and see us. So
and we can also do readings. I would do email readings or Zoom readings with people. Same with long distance Reiki, but the only thing we can't do is house cleaning. If you live too far away, we can't do that one remotely. But apart from that, and we're very grateful that you had us on your podcast. We very much appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to our podcast with you airing.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Kim and Barb, very much for being on the show. Lots of information to share. Wonderful.
Okay.
You've been listening to the Time Is Now podcast. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Bye, everyone.